War. Bah, bah, bah. Bah, bah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Beautiful.
Oh, I think I got an idea what this show's going to be about. Jim, what's going on?
Well, hey, look, you know what? We need the elephant in the world now, right?
Yeah, totally. We got to talk about what's going on in the world right now.
We got to talk about.
So we got an interesting table here. We got two very interesting guests.
We do.
We got some cheese. We got some salami. We got some bread, and we got some vino, as it should be on a podcast.
Always. Always.
And I noticed that Dave brought in two particular pieces of paper.
Yeah.
That belong to the government. Well, supposed to belong to the people.
Right.
But we'll get into that. So we are going to talk about COVID and how COVID is affecting small business.
Yeah.
Now, it's affecting all four of us and everybody else that's listening and everybody that's in construction directly. We want to talk all about that. So over to my side, I've got Mark here. And Mark, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Mark, and I've done real estate since 2005 full time. Started investing mainly in rental properties, then grew that into construction development. Got into finance, and so right now I run a finance company that does construction financing, development. We got into some retirement home building. I started, my real roots are with my cousin here, where he got me turned on to the construction side and the cabinet making, and I think I'll let Dave take it from there. Where did you get your start with my cousin Dave to my left here?
Started way back in
1988. Yeah.
Right, and we were in the millwork business. We started out with a small little shop, and we grew it and moved around and expanded, and here we are today.
Innovative fabrication.
That's right, innovative
Dave,
fabrication.
you were a carpenter, right?
Carpenter, cabinet maker by trade.
By trade, yeah.
Yeah, we've really felt the downturn in the economy. I mean, our sales are down about 70%. So it's been pretty it's been tough. Yeah, we had to lay off a couple of people. We've invested in equipment, new CNCs, and we have all these payments, and it's tough.
And there's a lot of uncertainty going on.
There's a lot of uncertainty.
And then we just in Ontario here, for everybody that's listening, we just did another lockdown as of Monday, right? So Monday we started another 28-day lockdown, which smells a little fishy lockdown. It's the small business shut down and go away.
A lockdown is a term they use in prison, right?
Yeah, which basically means what? Everybody stays in one spot and you can't go. Everybody stays in one spot. Not just small business and all of a sudden big corporate, you're allowed to do certain things.
Well, no.
Everybody should be doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a selective lockdown is probably a better word. We got Costco and Walmart, they're allowed to stay open, and we got the little guys like Dave and I that are saying, well, we're not essential, but we're in the same business. For example, a clothing store along Yonge Street. They're not allowed to be open, but does Walmart sell clothes? I think
they do.
So how do they penalize the little guy? So the lockdown is only for the little guy? It doesn't make sense. I fundamentally think it's wrong.
Well, it's killing. Regardless what it's killing small business. It's essential that all of us go to work and make a living. I mean, it's essential.
Just not mentally. It's also, this is what we are.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
And if you're a business owner, and I mean, let's face it, small business, it's not the easiest thing to do.
No.
I mean, you gotta hats off to anybody that runs a small business. I mean, you don't have any retirement fund coming to you. That's right. It's what you make. And
we don't have any COVID fund.
We don't have any COVID fund. And it's something that, it's hit the world and no one really understood what it was going to do or what it's doing now. But, I mean, come on. We've had 8 months of this now. And now we've shut everything down again. Just for my beef, we've shut down the city again.
Yeah.
Which, as far as I understand, they're still going home with full pay. For guys in our business, where's the permits coming from? When are they going to be issued?
Right.
Just in good times, it's slow as shit.
Yeah.
Now, this is just another excuse.
It is a fact.
It's going to trickle down, sooner or later. Because, I mean, and we'll talk about it, I guess, as we go along. But it not only does it affect waiting for a permit, it's our guys. We're running out of work. there's no job on the horizon. So what are we going to do? Have to lay off the trades? They're out. Then there's the material costs that you lay. I mean, I just had to lay this in front of a client that we priced her job out, before COVID hit, with lumber costs, the original price was $70,000 for framing. And now I got to go say, oh, I'm sorry, it's $140,000.
Yeah.
That's just for the material. Now, what else has gone up? Drywall is going to go up. Everything's going to go up. Everybody's going to follow suit and go up. So is that a cash grab? Is that I understand that, especially when it comes to plywoods and stuff like that, they have to shut down the mills because of COVID and everything else. But don't you think our government needs to step in and say, hey, why are you cranking up doubling the price of a piece of plywood right now when we can wait? We can wait the extra 8 weeks that we got to wait. But why do we have to wait 8 weeks and pay double the price?
But isn't that across the board? Aren't we seeing increases across the board? Like my caulking guys were on site the other day, and he can't get the midnight black.
Right.
Because there's a back order of 30 days for it, right?
But you're paying double the price.
But you're still paying more for it.
Right.
But also, we know we go grocery shopping, we're paying more for groceries than we were a year ago.
Who are the guys that are making the money? Loblaws, all those big bucks.
They are.
They are having record years.
Right.
I mean, I support my little guy by my house. Little food land dude. It's a small little place. I go there. Yeah, you know what? I pay more. But he's a small business. He's got a family. I go to him. Sure, I'm going to pay more for meat and everything. I don't care. I know I'm keeping him in business.
What you guys are talking about is totally it's like it's a consequence of the lockdown. But I've done a little bit of work, or when I'm speaking to my people, like in my work, we deal with a lot of financing for construction, and so a lot of the guys have pulled back on saying, well, we're going to wait and see this out. So I'm saying, well, what are we waiting for? The reality is, my understanding of this lockdown is because of the health system. They are trying to prevent the health system from being overloaded. So when I looked at the numbers, the only province that is actually producing numbers that you can understand is Alberta, and they do a comorbidity rate. And what that tells us is that the net death from a healthy person from COVID is 1% per 100,000. It's the actual number, I have it here, is 297,000 cases in Alberta. Out of the 297,000, only 26 have died that were healthy. Every single other person that died from COVID was because of a complication. That's called
Contributing
comorbidity.
factors of other...
Right. So we're shutting the economy. We're having all these issues we're talking about because trying to prevent the health system. So we're letting a doctor determine our economy, which I think is completely backwards. And now the media is getting on it. Everybody's getting on board saying, yeah, we got to wear masks. Okay, I get it. I don't want to break the law. I don't want to do all that kind of stuff. But I want to understand, why are we in lockdown? What is causing it? Well, we don't want to have the doctors overwhelmed with all this. So I just heard just now on 680 News coming in saying that, well, we have 150 beds now being filled up. Once we hit 200, we're going to have to start pulling back. We only have 150 beds in ICU with people on ventilators. And those people on ventilators, based on the numbers that Alberta told me, 3 of them would be normal, healthy people. All the rest were diabetes, all this other stuff. So we're all losing, and we're all going to be feeling this effect for the rest of our lives. I got gray hair, Jim. I can see you got gray hair. We're going to be our retirement.
Hey,
is going to be
I got gray hair
sorry,
too, man.
Wow, you're the best looking guy here. Yeah.
But I'm 100.
And Dave has no hair, right?
Dave has no hair.
Okay, but I mean, in the beginning, wasn't everybody talking all over social media? They were like saying, listen, more people die from the flu. Mm-hmm. And there's never been a lockdown as a result of the flu. So why are we... But then I also argue about countries like Sweden don't do lockdowns.
And what happened to them?
And they're surviving. Norway, Finland, these countries are surviving, they're thriving, they're taking care of themselves. Why is it that we're so quick? And also, in all fairness, America hasn't done.
Yeah.
But America, unfortunately, I'm sorry, because we do have a lot of American listeners, they are the number one leader regarding cases of COVID. And they're leading, outranking everybody else in the entire world.
And they also started the vaccine, though. They also got the vaccine going.
But doesn't that just boil down to 300 million people to 30 million people?
30, right.
It does, but hang on. So India is actually second to America.
You got your notes.
So I'm just saying that right now, as of I think it was like the beginning of this week, right? United States was 13 million.
Yeah.
13 cases.
Active cases?
Yeah, so 269,320 deaths. But India has 1 billion population, and they're at 9,308,000. And they have 135,000 deaths. So they're almost half of what America is, but they're triple, almost quadruple the size of America.
So what are they doing then?
We don't know, right? I mean, and Russia's behind that,
testing.
Spain's behind that, and we all know at the beginning of this, Spain and Italy were hit hard, like because they're just very sociable
tight.
people.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's-
all it was. Canada is way down the list, man, like way down the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
well,
the
and
funny
again,
thing.
But then when you talk about the active cases and then the deaths, so no, we don't want anyone to die. I'm just trying to say, well, let's really look at the economy from the death perspective. More people die driving a car. What are we going to do? Lock down car driving? Because more, and in fact, the study this guy one did, I can, if anyone wants it, call me up. I'll give you the study. You get more people dying from snow skiing in a winter than what we're going to have total COVID deaths. So we're going to lock down skiing now. The idea of deaths directly due to COVID is the question I'm asking, or is a question that I like to
I
put
don't
out
think
there.
you're ever going to get the answer.
Alberta has given us the answer. Ontario and all the other provinces are not telling us that information. They're not telling us.
Well, how much information are we not being told in general?
So we're not being told that the people who are truly dying, they have other complications. That's the issue.
That's the issue.
That's the issue.
And whenever someone has a funny feeling in their stomach or they're feeling a little feverish, they jump into the testing line. And we also know for a fact that you can get tested 4 times at the same place from different nurses and be 2 positives, 2 false positives.
Yeah.
What's going on here, right? So, I mean, if you are feeling a little... This is Canada. We all know what a tickle in our throat is. We know what a feeling in our flu, like our stomach is. It may not be COVID. It may actually be just you are under the weather.
Yeah.
But that's overwhelming the healthcare system too, isn't it?
Well, okay, but is the health system truly being overwhelmed? Because right now they're saying, the doctors, I say the doctors are running our economy. The doctors are running the construction business because they're saying, no, we have to shut things down. And so people are listening to them. But the doctors aren't telling us who's really dying. They're saying we've had X amount from COVID. Not really. That's the truth. What I'm saying is we're not being told the truth. And I know it sounds conspiracy theory. The last thing in the world.
Is that when Dave's going to jump in?
I was going to say, I've learned all this stuff from Dave. Usually the smart guy in the room's the quiet guy. So it's really Dave that's the smart guy.
I'm waiting for this to burst.
The revolutionary.
Yeah. So I'm his spokesman, so to speak. But
Well, I've always looked at it like, okay, someone's making money from this. Someone is making money from this. The whole film industry, TV industry, there's a reason why Netflix is monstrous right now. Streaming, Amazon, shipping, like this is ramped up home delivery services. Massive, like almost overnight.
And
It's just cranked
that
it.
doing to the small guy?
It's killing. This is really a situation to get rid of small business. This is what it's feeling like. We're finally going to get rid of it and just have a world that's controlled by corporations.
And let's face it, we talked, a few times about millennials. All they do is shop online.
yeah.
So I don't think there's really,
they're almost an oxymoron because the thing is that they want the small business, hipster, local. I'm going to go to that butcher, organic, but I'm going to take an Uber to it and I'm going to use everything online and I'm going to use my app and all. So it's like they want both worlds.
Yeah.
But you can't feed this monster and then still support the little guy. The little guy is going to get trampled on.
Well, look what they're doing to Adamson Barbecue. I don't know if there's any listeners out there, but that's pretty current in the news right now. That poor guy just wanted to open up a restaurant. Our lovely mayor decides to use the words, I'm going to slap the book on him, and he's going to be made an example of opening. Here's a small guy trying to make a living, and he's being made an example of that. Don't you dare open. And how dare anyone in position of power to support that. Now, I know Doug Ford said, look, I feel for the guy. As we know, he was charged today. There's an example of this.
He was fined, right?
He was fined. No, and he's charged now.
He's
He was
charged, but he was fined like 9 times or something.
Well, he was...
Nine charges.
Nine
Yeah,
charges.
so someone decided to call, bring the fire department. You guys, we all in construction. We know that the fire department come in every single day and give you because the fire code changes every single day. Just because you get past one day, the very next day they can come in and say, no, it's changed.
Doesn't mean.
So when I heard the fire department was there, I said, no, they're out to get this guy. So the fire department closed them down, and they have a lot of power, and they should because he's right. And they closed him down. I said, they're after this guy now, right? I mean, they're
Okay, but what's sad is the image that I saw on social media today, which I don't look at media outlets anymore because I just find this all corrupt. But the image I saw was, I'm going to guess, maybe 15 or 16 police constables standing in front of his store, his restaurant.
Yeah. I would double that number.
Yeah.
It was twice that?
And horses.
So the point is that
And there was horses,
this is
yeah.
not a dangerous individual,
Right.
and you're putting this much public funded resources to make the statement. Is that what it was? Is someone
make a
trying
statement.
to get a hard on saying, I want as many police constables
No,
standing in front
and they're
of
going
this?
to blame it all on to him.
for sure.
Let me just play the other side. I agree with him. He's a small business, but I think he took it too far. I think he would have had more sympathy and more followers or whatever you want to call it to help him if he kind of just let it go a little bit. To walk around, have all his...
He got a little boisterous with it.
Well, had the anti-maskers there and people that had probably shouldn't even been there.
I was there, and there was definitely people that were just, as we call professional
Shit
protesters.
disturbers.
Right.
But the thing is, we don't know if he brought them in or if they just jumped on that wagon
exactly.
because of the situation. Like when you're currently driving at rush hour by that place, because he's right off the Gardner.
Right.
So you can see it right off the Gardner. And I was driving through, and all the traffic was slowing down.
Yeah.
They were
Everybody's
rubbernecking.
going to
Yes.
see. Right.
And in all fairness, this week he's actually jumped. I don't know exactly how many, but I think 10,000.
Right.
On social media, right? And his comments are through the roof. And you're getting a mixed match of both. And also, I had somebody reach out to me and left a comment going, I noticed that you liked his rant. Do you support him? And I'm like, listen, I'm too old and too smart to start a fight with you who has a private account and you want to use my platform of 80,000 people to start a fight about this issue.
Right.
I won't. I won't do that, right? I have my opinion and it's my page. And if you don't like it, don't listen to it and go away.
Don't come to it.
But I still, I will always support small business. I don't
Right.
give a shit.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I think. I think
And often
Adamson
I
is.
do. So I want to say, man, it's a fucking good brisket, man. Like the food there, honestly, like it's
Yes.
melting. in
Can
your
we
mouth.
order in now?
Oh man, like
The salami and cheese is not cutting it now.
this is good. That's amazing. But no, okay, sorry, I interrupted you, man.
No. I was just saying that to your point. I mean, do I support him? I think, Jim, you hit the nail on the head. How he's doing it, but he's becoming a flashpoint
Yeah.
for what I think is brewing.
Yeah.
Which is why Dave and I are here, is because we're starting to realize, you know what, enough is enough. I think that's what's. So what do we do about it? And I say, well, let's educate ourselves. Let's educate and say, wait a sec, why are we in this lockdown? Health system, and then going back to what I stated before. But what do we do about it now? Like, do we support this guy? I don't know. I mean, I want to support him, but then I'm considered then I'll be viewed upon, like you were saying, you don't want to express some strong views because then some people within your group will say, oh, well, you're taking a hard left or a hard right. It's better to stay down
But that's
the
where
middle.
the keyboard warriors come in, and everybody hides behind social media, and they
Right.
want to say. I think that everybody in Canada, specifically in Toronto, I think we're fed up with this. I think that at first, Rob Ford was doing an amazing job, and same with Tory, and everybody was trying to get ahead of it.
Doug.
They were. Oh, sorry. Doug Ford.
You're thinking of cocaine again.
So, yeah, he's gone. He's good. He's gone. But that's a different story. But the thing is that they were getting ahead of it, which was very impressive. They were actually doing a better job than our prime minister. But I think on the global stage, Canada was actually doing a really good job in the beginning. But then all of a sudden, do a second lockdown a month before the holidays. And we've got projects on the go, and we're trying to figure out, and you've got clients reaching out to you going, okay, listen, what's going to happen now? And then you make those phone calls to your suppliers. What's going to happen now? When is the material going to arrive? What's going to happen for this job, that job? We're trying to plan next year. We're trying to figure out, are we going to survive? Do we have to downsize? Do I have to let people go? Can I not buy that machine? I just bought a machine. I just signed a 5-year lease. We're freaking out. We're stressed, and stress kills us. So it's like, what do we do now? We have to kind of support people that want to take a stand like
Stress
that.
is a silent killer right now, I
Yeah.
think, for everybody right now. I mean,
Everybody is so uncertain of what to do come January 21.
yeah.
Well, then again, I go back to the idea of educating ourselves and this wine and cheese plate. I'm looking right now at the Canadian
Let's
Charter.
talk about this.
Sure, the Canadian Charter of Rights. Dave, here, you can take the Canadian Bill of Rights. Now, the Canadian Charter basically gives us the right to speak our minds. I don't see anywhere in there where it says a guy can't be open for business. And fundamentally, that's what I think Adamson wanted to do. That's what we want to do. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. We want to run our business, but we're being told that we can't run our businesses. We're being told that we can't open our doors. But the Canadian Charter of Rights doesn't state that. So what do we do now? As Canadian citizens, do we fight this? Do we take a hard line? Do we become like conspiracy theory guys? Or do we just sit back and go, well, you know, the government's right? Is the government right?
They've never been in this before. So how can they be right?
Good point.
Right? So
Good point, yeah.
Every week they've learned something and they move on with it, right?
Right.
How can anybody be right? I mean, we're all experiencing the same thing. We're all trying to get through it. So I don't think it's really any different than us sitting here up there in Ottawa. They're kind of probably sitting doing the same thing. Like, what the fuck do we do now?
Yeah.
But
right?
the major, big, huge difference between that person sitting up in Ottawa and us,
is they get to do it.
they get to do it, but they get to go home and still get paid full.
Right.
We don't.
Right.
Well, now you're touching on something really
We don't have a
sensitive, yeah.
pension. We don't have that security. We are dipping into a line of credit. We are going back to the bank and pleading. Can we extend, increase? They're not doing that. They're staying home and working half the day, a quarter of the day, and still be
getting full
paid
pay.
the full pay, which is really not fair. We know that there's certain civic centers that nobody's in town. So if you try to call for a permit question or a permit inquiry,
Nothing.
nobody's answering.
Yeah.
And if you actually call it, you got to go through all the pound numbers and everything like that
Yeah.
to get to an email to send that
That's
email
usually on a normal
on
day.
a normal day.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we're trying to run a business, but you guys are at home being paid in full. If I don't go to work, what happens, guys, if we don't go to work?
So why not lead by example?
Yeah.
Right?
Wouldn't that be a crazy effort? Like the government lead by an example?
Mr. Prime Minister and your cabinet and all of you guys up there,
Yeah, take a pay cut.
take a pay cut.
Yeah.
Take a massive pay cut.
You're not going into the office, so clearly you're saving money.
We have to work just like they do, but they're still getting paid. We're not. We're working,
Right.
but we're not getting paid.
But that's every small business owner.
Right.
And that's why when it first happened, I started supporting a lot of the local restaurants, and I was doing shout outs and I was talking and I was like, please consider the curbside, please consider ordering, please do all this stuff. Because the thing is, I felt for them. They had to lay off staff. People that were waiting, that lived off of tips, they weren't surviving. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, like, they're trying to make some money, and now you're doing it a second time. You're basically, there was a percentage, I don't even know what it is, but there must have been a percentage of restaurants that completely shut down for good.
Yeah, there are.
They
I don't know if
figure-
you guys
they
have been
figure,
on
they figure 30% won't come back.
Gatonero on College and Crawford, gone.
Yeah.
That place was there since the 60s. Gone as a result, directly related to COVID. And that's not the only
okay,
one.
look, I mean, it's been around forever. The pickle barrel, gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Right?
And so what's going to happen now for 28 days going into January, where this is the one season that there's a reason why it's called Black Friday, by the way, people. This is the time that these businesses get out of the red and they get into the black.
Yeah.
And
they
now
locked
you've
it
taken that away from them.
Yeah. Well,
Or giving it to Amazon.
Or giving it to big corporate. And that's what, I mean, we've all seen these post-apocalyptic futures where it's big corporate that owns countries and owns people. There is conspiracy attached to this. There is. And you got to try to figure out what's going on. But you get big companies like Amazon and Google and Facebook. And when they are monopolizing data and trying to figure out what you think, say, and breathe, so then you can buy the next item unconsciously, that's scary as a result of that.
There's something right about what Snowden had to say.
Oh, there's 100% right.
well, you know, Dave, I've known Dave for quite a while, and he always tells me his business is 6 months ahead.
Does he talk too much?
He does.
does, Christ, Dave, like, slow it down, brother.
Your business is directly related to retail.
it is.
And you say your orders come in for renovations for
Usually
stores.
6 months.
6 months.
6 months,
How's
yeah.
your business right now?
Oh, we're slow. we're slow. We're seeing it. It's the first time I've seen it in probably 10 years.
How nervous are you?
How nervous am I with my business? I'm concerned. I don't sleep.
We all don't.
Yeah.
I've been out with
sleep.
Dave a few times. No, he doesn't sleep.
You know, there's a lot going on, and we're feeding mouths. We're feeding families.
You still
right?
have the full payroll?
I've let 2 people go.
Yeah.
Right.
You
I
had to,
had
eh?
no choice. I had no choice.
And
Plus,
where, do you know where they went to, or where they? And that's the other thing
Uber drivers.
No, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
Yeah. That's all they. There's
all
jobs.
that's out
There's
there.
no job. Who's hiring right now?
There's nobody.
Who would hire?
Speaking about that, let's just talk about hiring. And let's just go back a few months. Why did we dump all this money? And maybe I'm wrong here saying this, but why did the government give all this money to these students that we usually hire for the summer, and no one could get one of them to work? Why would they work? You're getting
would you go to work, Jim?
$1,500 a month.
Why would you go to work when you're
Right,
bringing in
making more
2,000
money.
and you're not doing
That's
nothing?
exactly what my son said. I said, son, I can hire for one of my job sites. He said, why, Dad? I'm making $1,200 for free for doing nothing. And
Stay
he did.
home.
He got
Yeah.
the money. He stayed home.
Yeah.
Did the government think about this before they sent
So,
it
like,
out?
what are we, putting into them? Like, what are we teaching them?
We're teaching them fear. I think there's a fear mentality. I have a 13-year-old, and she is already got a built-in fear. When I say, "Oh, don't worry about this. Oh, don't worry, things will get better," she goes, "I don't know, Dad. I don't know." Remember, we're talking to a 13-year-old. They're being very conditioned. right
Really?
now. Yeah, she doesn't. She's at 13. You and I have never lived through anything like this, and like you said, Jim, this is a once in a lifetime experience. But for people that are being shaped at that 10-year-old to 15-year-old, this is going to affect their psyche. I
So
think
what
it
are
is.
they going to? Okay, who are they going to become when they're in their 20s? Are they going to save more? Are they going to be more
That's a good
protective?
point. Yeah, remember like the Great Depression.
Yeah.
They're saying, well, there is one good news. If we can talk about one great thing, is there's more cash being hoarded
just
right
gonna
now.
say, yeah.
That because everyone's living in fear. To your point, Manny, everyone's in fear, so they're holding on to their
It's funny
cash.
because I'm doing
More,
it.
more
I have to do
savings.
it.
The savings accounts are up.
Yeah.
And then if you look what happened after the Great Depression in the 30s, the 40s and 50s was amazing because everyone had all this money that they were conditioned to save money. And so my daughter, maybe to your point, Manny, is she's going to be conditioned not to spend money foolishly. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now.
So 2040 is going to be a great party, huh? Is that what we're saying?
I'd like to think so.
Right? Because I'll be going south, and my kids will be getting whatever I leave over.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a boomer, so when my parents passed away, like we had extra income. So I think that's why we, over the last 20 years, you've seen the construction market flourish, right?
But hang on a sec. So you're dealing with, the boomers then, they weren't fed all this money
No.
from
Not-
two different divorced parents
No.
to
Which they are
purchase
now.
homes that were way out of their range. They weren't doing that. So how is that going to work in history now? When you're gone and you're passing it on to your children, they're paying off a $1.5 million home, already carrying, I don't know, a $1 million mortgage. How is that going to be survivable?
Right. And
How's
they're
that
just
even
starting.
doable? I mean, we talked earlier about the Great Reset. How can a millennial even afford a home? And we're all in the business of renovating, and a home is the number one thing people renovate. If people aren't buying because they're just too expensive, and my son even came out to me, my oldest said, "How do I buy a home? It's impossible, Dad. It's impossible for me to buy
How
a
do
home."
they? So you're in real estate. So how do they buy? I mean, sure, interest rates are beautiful.
They're the best they've ever been. It's like free money.
wonderful.
Yeah.
But
and for the next
homes-
3 years, they're going to be like this.
They're going to have
But
to.
homes are still the average home in Toronto area
Still
is
$1
still
million
over
bucks.
$1 million. Average.
That's why my
semi,
daughter's moving, gone out of the city.
Yeah.
to find a better place, a better lot, a better home
She's getting a 2,700 square foot house
for the same price, if not less.
for 750 G's.
Yeah.
Made a little bit of money on their first house here, but said, "Dad, I'm out. This city's nuts, and I don't feel safe here anymore." And she can work at home.
We got 65 townhouses we're building in Aurelia, and we sold out in 3 months in Aurelia because guess what our price was? $369.
How many square?
1,400, 1,450. Wow. Yeah. Now, of course, But that's Aurelia. But the people are buying that because of the fact that exactly what we're talking about is the cities have outpriced. So, there's like a great, if there is going to be a reset, there should be a reset in home prices. I hate to say it, man, if to keep the economy, we talked earlier, Manny, about 25% of Canada's GDP is construction. It's the number one thing that keeps the world
I
going.
think it's more, isn't it?
I feel like it's more. I think it's more now.
Because it was just a few years ago that just renovations alone was, $50-60 billion a year.
But in terms of the whole, if you include gas and oil and everything, the construction business, all construction, is the largest employer.
That's a quarter of this country.
Of the whole country's output. We got immigration. We were talking about that, Manny, about how immigration will drive that. But if the prices are too high, how the hell is anyone going to afford anything? And if no one's buying, no one's going to be building. If no one's building, all of us at this table are out of work.
Right. And right now the borders aren't open.
Yep.
Nobody's allowed in, so the immigration is cut down to nothing. There's not going to be a housing boom.
Let's talk about vaccines.
So we got one right here.
And I'm out.
My vaccine's a little empty right now.
Wait a second. Dave, jump in here, man.
There's another bottle here.
There's another bottle there. Okay,
Well,
good.
Isn't the vaccine going to be a 2-shot one? I'm
I
only on
think
my
so.
first shot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what I'm scared about the vaccine is that it is being controlled by big corporate too.
We were talking about vaccine today with a potential client of mine.
Oh, that's a good wine, Dave. I've had that one.
Is that a good one?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
good with the cheese.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
No, let's talk about the good stuff. And we both said, like, okay, when this comes out in March or something, or whenever it comes out, I don't want to be the first guy to take it.
I'm not taking it.
Like, what do you know about it? You just came up with it.
There's a 90% success rate. And if you're smart, buy some Pfizer stock. Like that.
Yeah.
There was a jump in Cineplex stock as a result of the announcement of the 90% vaccine rate, because it was basically a clue into the future is going to be back to normal.
Well, look at the NASDAQ today, or Dow, the highest ever. What is driving the economy in this, like the Dow? What if we're in the worst recession? They say it's actually a depression. How is the Dow Jones at its highest? It's hit 30,000, I think, today.
I know you talk about this reset, but I have a funny feeling super wealthy people don't want to reset and poor people want to reset. But it's kind of like the EU.
Dave, that was perfect.
That was the reset.
That was our reset.
Oh, that was beautiful, man. Jesus. So how would a reset work in a corporately driven world? You know what I mean? Like, how do you forgive people who don't have anything, who love living a life of nothing and still having that assistance given? With this lockdown, didn't our government just recently talk about they're going to be handing out more?
Yeah, another
$750 per week now? Yippee! So all of a sudden people don't have
more
to work.
money could
More
be
free
handed
money.
out?
Yeah. They're handing out more money,
another
more free
serve,
money.
another serve of some
But
sort.
where is this money
Food
coming
stamps.
from?
It's just being printed.
I know, but the thing is, it's gonna kill us later on. It's gonna kill your offspring later on.
It's going to kill my grandkids, man.
Yeah, you can't just print money. Like, we know that from society. It doesn't work like that.
It's like you and I were talking the other day, Dave, about the city has to run a balanced budget.
Yeah.
And right now it's 2 or 3 billion.
I think so, yeah. It was something like that.
How's that ever going to get paid back? And that's what kind of brought me to the things that we were talking about earlier about let's get the permits going. Let's get construction going. There's all your money,
For sure.
That's how you bring the economy back.
You do. Construction will.
right?
Yeah.
Construction always brings the
But
economy
keep
back.
it going.
You got to keep it going. You got to get these guys.
And in all fairness, Jim, in 8 months, we haven't figured out how
We
these
haven't figured
employees
shit
No,
out.
the ones that work from home, how this is a digital age, and we can't approve or authorize or review digitally. We can't inspect digitally. We can't take a FaceTime phone call. We can't communicate with an inspector that way. Like we can't. Last couple of inspections I had, he was like, "I'm only going down there if it's me and you. Nobody else can be inside there."
That's exactly.
I'm like,
the way
okay,
they
I'm
are.
totally fine with that. But the thing is, like, he didn't really do a good job in my opinion. But the thing is, it could have been done with a FaceTime call. It could have been done digitally. And in 8 months, why haven't we shifted that way? Because guess what? Big corporate has shifted that way.
So how do we shift the construction industry that way?
We have to, but the
We
problem
have
is,
no choice,
I've always said that construction is it's a dinosaur. It's always the last dinosaur to implement any kind of new tech.
But why is it you go north of the city, you go to the cottage country,
And they're good.
You get a permit in 3 weeks.
They're good
Because they got nothing to do up there. Like the council and stuff, I agree. Like my Aurelia project, Toronto took me 2 years to get our building permit. We bought the property in August.
2 years.
Well, and some.
I just started one that took us a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah. Now we're talking zoning changes. We're a little bit different,
okay.
right? If you got to do through zoning change, we had to do a zoning change and get our permit. We were done by December. 6 months in Aurelia. Now, that's a different mentality. We're now talking about
That's a development.
that's a development, but it's the same. It's the same process. We got to go get approval. We got to get the permits, and a development adds to the economy. But I think all construction adds to the economy. What you got, renovations,
100%.
for sure.
Look,
So
it keeps all the trades working. It keeps the city working.
the economy going.
Just spit them out. Let's get them out.
So I just want to say a little footnote here that if you guys want to go someplace where there's been 0 deaths and single-digit cases of COVID, you want to head to the remote areas of Australia.
Australia's done amazing, but they shut it. They should shut the country down.
Well, that's the only way to do it. You got to shut it down for 28 days. Everybody.
But
we did that.
But I mean, they shut
We
it
did
down
it.
to
but
having
nobody-
anybody
no
coming in from
business.
any other countries.
No business at all?
No business at all. Nobody can move around.
That's the way they did it.
Yeah, that's
Was
the only
it?
way to do it.
Australia did it that way.
Australia, China.
But we should have did that the first 28
You
when
got
we were all
it.
trying to figure out everything. But
That's
we
right.
didn't do it then. We kept it going, and we kept on feeding everybody with money from the government, from our grandkids, your grandkids.
Right. Okay, you know what? Shut it down for 28 days. Feed us all with $1,000 so we can, get Instacart to come to our door, bring us food. We don't go anywhere for 28 days. That's it. Then away we go. You wouldn't have to dish out any more money.
It was almost a Band-Aid, huh? So now this is the second Band-Aid, the second lockdown?
There's a third one coming.
Are we getting gauze on the third one? What's going on here?
Dave's got this.
Definitely.
Dave's
There's
got
a
it.
Why is there? Wait, hang on a sec. There's a third one coming?
Oh, yeah. There'll be one in January.
No. Really? Why?
Dave knows.
You've seen the
Just
future?
There was some stuff that was leaked out with the Liberal government. It was a cabinet minister. It was on social media.
Tell us more. I don't know anything about this, man. Tell us more.
Well, I mean, all the check marks are checking off right now, so it's happening. We're in November right now, and it's exactly what they said. The shutdown was going to happen in November. They say there's one coming in January.
Like a further
So
shutdown.
if one comes in January, we're coming back here and talking about it again. Then there is a
Wait,
conspiracy.
like at the beginning of January or the end of January? Beginning of January.
2021. It's
So
gonna
as
be
soon as they
21.
finish this second lockdown,
Yeah,
they're going to
there's going to be a third one, and with a fourth one.
But that third one is going to be more aggressive?
It'll probably be the same thing.
Isn't there any discussion of a vaccine preventing these
I
shutdowns?
don't know.
I thought the vaccine was ready, like what we're hearing is March.
March.
It's
We're going to have
being-
3 million ready by March, I heard.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
are you going to be
Are
one
you-
of the first 3 million to
Never.
take it?
Yeah, the healthcare will be.
No, I wouldn't even touch it.
So you wouldn't touch it, Jim. You're going to touch it? Mark?
I'm not.
So I'm not touching it. So consensus of
Like
4
if I,
people here.
if I got it, then at the time maybe I'll take a shot of it. But if I don't have it, then why would I do it?
But I thought I heard that if you don't take it, because there's some documentation attached to it to prove that you took it, you won't be able to actually travel borders and everything.
That's right.
They won't let you. But what's in that shot?
Well, there you go. Right here we go. We got the Bill of Rights in front of us. Why do I have to take it?
You don't have to do anything, but the thing is, they won't allow you on another plane if you want to
They won't
travel.
allow you to travel.
Or if I interpolated what you said properly, if you don't take the vaccine, then walking into a store, you're going to get carded to prove or something. And if you didn't get a vaccine, you can't shop there. You have to put a mask on, or you have to, whatever. There might be some.
And you know what? I'd be okay putting a mask on.
I have no problem
But-
putting
but
a
I-
mask on.
right.
In the beginning, I had a problem, but I have no problem putting a mask on now.
Exactly the same. I got no
And-
problem.
running
I'm not
running my
feeling,
business.
You know, that I should be stabbing myself with some serum that they just got off the, just came up with 2 months ago.
You know,
Shoved
generally-
it in a few rats and they made it okay. And now what? Now
Now you're going to be the rat.
Generally,
Not
what
gonna be the
happens
rat.
is we all take that vaccine, and then there's a whole zombie apocalypse, right? That's what generally happens.
Right.
I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be the guy running.
Right. I want to be the guy riding the bike and with the bow and arrow. And
I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that one.
So there's going to be another lockdown in January.
That's
This
what they're
is
saying.
Dave's prediction.
That's what they're saying. There's going to be another lockdown.
So this is a cabinet person that leaked this information that they're just.
Yeah.
So everyone is still at home. Nobody's gone to work regarding public officials.
The schools aren't going back till 12th of January or something.
So school is out right now for everybody.
No, school will be out a week earlier for Christmas. So the kids will be out. What they want, I think, is 2 weeks before Christmas, and then 2 weeks after. So there's that 2 week thing. You can go and hang out with all your family, get COVID, and then you got 2 weeks. Then you got 2 weeks.
Okay,
You're better
so
off
they
to get
stuff there.
COVID.
Mark, earlier you're talking about how this was putting fear into your 13-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
But all these extended we had 2 weeks for Christmas. We had 1 week for March break. We had an extra long weekend for Easter. These kids this year have gotten how many? And are
And
they
they
really?
have the whole summer off.
And they figured out how to
more.
do a Zoom freeze break,
Yeah.
so they can't even
Yeah.
do their digital online schooling. So they're not even doing that. So what exactly is teaching that to these kids?
Well, I can only speak that, personally, is that my daughter wants to go to school. Her school actually got shut down. They had 3 cases of COVID, 3. And of course, no kids have died, but it's 3 kids have gotten the flu, so to speak. They shut the whole school down, and they're not going to reopen now. So she's now on Zoom. She calls me at 12. I'm done school. I'm bored. What do I do? And she says, I really miss it. No friends. It's nothing. So I don't know what's going to happen, but this has got to be placing some kind of memory in a growing child's.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, in 2040, what's going to happen in 2040? These kids are going to be are going to be us.
Well, they're going to be the decision makers in government
That's
too.
right. So I don't know, but she definitely has a fear of the world, and she doesn't see it positively. She's viewing it very negatively. I'm worried. I'll be honest. I'm worried.
I kind of feel for, I don't know what's going on with the post-secondary. So what happened if you paid tuition and you didn't go to school? Have you lost all that money now?
I had 2 kids university. Both of them they paid, and they're paying for in class. They got the full amount. They haven't got any rebates. They're now online.
So they're being taught online now.
They're being taught online, but the full amount, which I think is totally unfair. I mean, you don't have to go to class. So how is the university making all this money? There's another question to ask. Education is getting still the same fee for an education, but you just go online. They're done at 12 o'clock.
Listen, I don't want to harp on the
get paid.
healthcare workers as well too, but the thing is that their wages increased too as well as a result of this, right?
Right.
Not all of them.
Not all of them? No? There was a certain segment that didn't?
Yeah, my daughter's a nurse and she didn't get a raise.
Nothing.
No.
Is she working longer?
She works her 12-hour shift.
But does she regularly work a 12-hour shift?
Yeah.
So she's not working any extra hours then?
No.
I heard that, healthcare is being strained.
They haven't asked her to. No. Now, she's in a different department. I mean, she's not dealing with all COVID, anything like that. She's more in the delivering babies and all that. But a month ago or 2 months ago, whatever it was, I said, so how's your, the bed situation, right? She goes, Dad, there's nobody here.
Yeah.
It's empty.
Nobody's there.
Yeah, all the beds are empty.
Yeah, they're preparing
They're preparing. And
for the big crash, but it's never come.
right, but it has now. They're getting full.
Isn't it too easy for our government just to say, lock it down, instead of trying to figure out a better way?
You know what? I think it's fear more than anything. They don't know what to do, so they just lock it down and deal with the shit later with what's happening now, right?
Listen,
And
I don't want to come across as a racist, but there was a huge spike in Brampton, that kind of drove through this lockdown.
Yeah.
But that's communal living.
Yeah.
They have 3 or 4 families per house.
And also when they have a celebration, it's hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, and nobody's wearing masks, right? And again, trust me, man, if anybody asks me, I'm not a racist individual. I hate everybody equally, right? That's just a fact, right? But I'm just saying that if you're seeing spikes in it's too easy for our government to just say, lock it down.
Right.
And just all of a sudden, that's the statement. That's our study. And
I mean, if you look at it, Peel usually has more cases than Toronto does.
we're in line with Toronto. Yeah, that's stupid. But
our population is far bigger.
Yeah.
so why don't we start looking at the source, trying to figure out what's going on here? No parties. Don't have. Wasn't there a person who had that party, that fine in the backyard, and it was like 200. I can't remember. It was 200.
Oh, there was some other party in a storage unit.
So just realize that it's like, okay, no more parties. I'm sorry, but you can't have the parties. You can't have the bar mitzvahs. You can't have the weddings. You can't postpone it all, man. Just wait.
But I think most people are doing that. I really do. Because, most people that I talk to, they're, they're hurting mentally. I just said the other day, I go, holy shit, I haven't seen this guy in almost a year. I haven't seen this guy in almost a year. Yeah, we talk, but it's not the same. We haven't gone on, a bike trip this year. Like, you just can't do anything.
Why can't you go on a bike trip?
I guess you could. You just stay in your province or whatever, but where do you go?
Yeah. That's true. You can't go east.
You'll be shunned.
Well, PEI is not letting any of us in.
Right. You can't go. Yeah, you can't go east.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the mental health issues will outweigh the COVID deaths.
Mental health, but then, here we are talking about people losing their jobs. I mean, divorce rate, actual fact, has gone up.
It got up, huge.
Financial strain within a family.
Domestic disturbance, right? And domestic violence.
Everything.
Bankruptcies. Tell me bankruptcies
that's
aren't going
to be
through
monstrous.
the roof. And then when people are out of work, so all that, we call it mental health. I mean, what's that going to do? So what's the greater hurt to society? Is it the lockdown, or is it the fact that like what Sweden did, which is said, no, we're not locking down. We're just going to get through this, the herd mentality, let everybody get sick, do whatever it does. The death rate was nowhere near what they thought it would be. Going back to my original point is the real cause, the real root, or the real death rate of COVID is very, very, very small. It's less than 1%.
But why isn't that being reported in the media?
That's my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. Alberta is the only province that has taken apart all their COVID deaths and analyzing them to say that, oh no, this person had diabetes, this person is, yeah, but he died of COVID. Yeah, but he had diabetes. He had
then
this.
why hasn't
Don't blame
Ontario?
it on the COVID, because that's what's happening. A lot of it's being...
That's so going back to what I'm saying is wait, why do we want to even agree to the lockdown? I'm saying the lockdown is a fake. The lockdown is not real. To your point, Jim, you're right. The government didn't know what to do. So let's shut it down. And that's what they did. But instead of analyzing and saying, wait a second, less than 0.79% is the actual number of deaths of a healthy person. And by the way, that healthy person is over 70. If you're under 60 and you're healthy, you have a less 0.0001% chance of dying. We're shutting down the economy.
Is that really the...
I got it. I'll mail it to you.
Seriously?
Seriously. That's why. So when we talk about information, about the decisions being made, our government is making, I don't believe they're telling us the truth behind the decisions they're making. At least Alberta has the guts to say, we're the actual death of COVID is 0.79% of a healthy person.
So you got to blame the media a little bit on this because they don't want to report that.
Right.
Media only reports what
makes the news.
Oh, it's all fear.
Yeah, fear, right.
It's always fear.
It sells.
In the beginning, I don't know if you guys were doing this, but I have yet to do this. I was not washing all of my groceries with detergent. No. I'm sorry, but I was not. But the amount
that'll kill you.
The amount of women,
absolutely,
the amount of women that were doing that, they were shopping groceries, bringing it home, leaving it outside, and washing it in a bucket and soap and water outside, and then bringing it in the home. I'm like, come on, are you kidding me? The pesticides alone in that groceries are gonna fucking kill you more than you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I haven't done that. And like I said, I didn't like wearing a mask in the beginning, but now it is commonplace. In every vehicle I'm in, I have a mask. I put it on. I go into the store. I run a business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys on the job site, I don't know, but Jim, with you, but some wear masks, some don't wear masks.
Yeah. So we made them wear them now. Just wear it. Because of this, lockdown. And I just, okay, guys, just wear this thing. Get it done. I don't wear it in my car
By yourself while you're
by
driving?
myself.
That never happens.
Jesus.
And it freaks me out when I see people doing that.
I'm thinking there's
they're
a ghost or somebody in the
they're
back
by
there,
themselves.
man.
Why are you wearing a mask?
You're going to give yourself the bid. Jesus.
Yeah.
But you know what? Going back to, listening to, the barbecue dude, listen to another
Adamson's,
restaurant.
man. The ribs are really
Adamson.
good too, man.
Listen to another.
He's open in
owner-
Aurora.
Owner
I think,
of,
Dave, you and I are going to go there tomorrow, right? Because that's the only one that's open.
because they're not closed.
This podcast is brought to you by Adamson's.
Yeah. Listen to another restaurant owner. He just said, if we're the cause of it, then give me the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go, you know what? That's brilliant because nobody has given you numbers. Is it 1% of the cases? Is it 2%?
I haven't heard of any cases of somebody that went to a specific restaurant,
Right.
had it, and infected other people with it. Nobody.
Most cases come from the home,
Yeah.
the family gatherings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Aren't they now putting stipulations on holiday gatherings?
Yeah, less than 10.
10? Less than 10.
Your own family. If you're 11, well, you're odd man out. One guy.
And what are they going to do? So they're going to bust in during Christmas dinner and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I see 12 people here."
You're
and
out.
right, you're going to
You're
go to prison
Yeah.
for having a Christmas dinner with your family.
Well,
Come on,
according
guys.
to what's happening with Adamson's, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm. Okay,
They'll fine you.
they'll fine you for having.
They'll throw a
This is
fine at you.
my grandfather. It's his last dinner. You're gonna take him away?
Yeah,
They got to make their money back somehow.
God, could that actually happen? Man,
They
this
won't
is,
do
This is
that.
like a movie.
What's the book? Remember the old book?
1984 or something like that.
84, yeah. Yeah. That's
Big
what it
Brother.
is. That's
Big
exactly
Brother.
what it is.
Oh man,
It's
Dave,
here. It's
you're
here.
right.
It's here.
No, it's just
I want to hear more of these conspiracies, Dave. Tell us more about these
Okay,
conspiracies.
Dave, you're the master.
I want to
of
know
conspiracies.
about more of this stuff, man.
I don't know about too much about it, so I'm trying to. You know what? I shouldn't be talking about it.
Don't worry.
Dave's
Don't worry,
already having
Dave
a hard-
Smith.
That's right. It's a first name basis here.
Dave's already stressed out. Came in, think there's everybody around.
Cautiously walked in here. What's going on? What's going on?
No, he
Who's-
brought the
who's
wine.
watching
Though.
us?
Yeah, he
Who's
brought
watching
the-
us?
brought
I guess
lunch
technically,
bag.
can we get arrested now because we're doing a podcast right now? And
There's
we're,
only 4 of us.
okay, so we're okay. But we're not. We're from different families, though.
And are we 6 feet apart?
Yes,
close.
an Italian 6 feet. Sure, okay.
Yeah. We got bread between us.
Yeah, that's true. We're touching this. Yeah, we are.
Don't forget the wine.
Oh, and the wine, yeah. I haven't tasted a new wine.
So, if we were politicians, how would we handle this situation?
I think getting the proper information out there, which is truly what are we dying? Why are we shutting it down? To my point, comorbidity rates. Alberta is the only one doing it. There was a fantastic article written on it. And the question is, why aren't the other provinces telling us the truth about how many people are really dying from COVID? That's all we want to know. Because we're talking about shutdown, we're talking about economy and everything going on. Big deal. I'm looking at the bottom line saying, well, why are we even doing this? Well, because 5,000, just today, 5,000 people got COVID. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean that...
Nobody's really telling you what that means.
Right, and yet the news, like I was 680, all these news, they're just
Well, you're
publishing
watching
all these numbers.
CP24 and you're just seeing these numbers.
Just all
Another
these
1,500,
Right,
another
right,
1,600.
Right. What does that mean?
Don't understand.
Right.
Yeah.
It means that, so based on the numbers that Alberta has, because they're the only ones producing, one person out of that 1,500 might end up in hospital who's healthy. The other 50 or so, they had underlying conditions. They were old. They had heart disease. They had all these other
So
diseases.
why isn't Ontario paying attention to Alberta?
Well, when does Ontario ever pay attention to
They
Alberta?
don't. And then Quebec's a different story as well, too.
Let's not even talk about Quebec.
It's a whole nother country.
That's a country, man. I heard that Quebec is now trying to enforce more French, but that's probably another topic. I can't
That's a
believe.
different podcast.
Yeah,
That's
it is a different
show.
Yeah. Speaking.
Is there less deaths now than there was when it first came out, like in March?
That's a good question. That's overall.
Legitimate, like COVID-related deaths?
Yeah, because and I don't know what the answer is. I think it's less now compared to what it was. because we're testing more. So obviously, I would think just simple math, you would have more cases.
Yeah, more
But
people are going in to get tested.
Right. But I don't think the death numbers are as high as they were before.
I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you look at that, sure, we wiped out most of the old age homes, which were, really susceptible to this. And it's unfortunate, obviously. But now, I mean, on a positive note, I guess, if there is any positive to COVID, it definitely cleaned up our senior living health care.
Yeah, that was a shambles.
I'll let you take all the letters there, Jim. But that was a whole other. Yeah, I agree with you. It was like all of a sudden,
And I don't.
beds
I
were
don't mean-
available now. Beds were available.
No, I don't mean it that way.
No. But that's how. But some of them were like that. That's the shady
Yeah,
thing.
I mean,
about this thing.
and what I meant by clean it up, I didn't mean by wiping them out.
Yeah.
I meant by cleaning up the way they work. I mean,
yeah,
The way to
like
run.
they're underpaid.
there was faults across the board on that.
Oh, so the new restrictions and everything else, it's only better. It's going to be far more healthier and far better living conditions for them, right?
And from a construction side, I think the retirement industry, it needs a massive overhaul. I got 2 projects myself, on the build, and we don't even know what direction to take. Do we go, because apparently the government is going to be taking over all private retirement homes. Like there's a new I don't know. I just heard that the Ford government has decided to have all these private operators. There's no more private operators of retirement homes. They're going to be taking over all of it. And now,
Is that really a good idea?
I don't know. I guess it's more restrictions.
We know that population is growing
massively.
dramatically.
We're
every
living
single
longer,
day.
man.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Not to put a damper on things, but my uncle just passed away this morning, and he was 98. And
God bless them.
Right?
98.
yeah,
Beautiful.
look how
Yeah, I
long
read
they-
somewhere
look how-
that
look
right
how
now,
long these guys live.
today, men are living to, I think it's 82. That's the average. Women are 87 right now. By the time we get a little bit older, it's going to be into the 90s.
keeps going up.
Yeah.
It's up.
So retirement and the senior living is going, and that's a whole other, retirement at 55 and then surviving
You
from
can't.
50,
You can't. There's
55
look
to
at me,
90.
I'm 65 and I'm still working. I couldn't pack it.
But
in
now
just
you
yet.
got to pack it up for 90, let's say.
I'm gonna work till I'm 90.
I think that, from the construction side and from that whole stuff we were talking about earlier, the retirement industry as a whole is being shaken to the core, and yet it's a growing industry. So what are we going to do?
It's going to be interesting because those same fear, kids of today are going to be making those decisions of tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the way that we get to that age, they're the ones that are going to be in their 30s and 40s making those decisions on what we get or what we're given and how we survive and based on what money there is in the government to give us at that point.
Yeah.
To survive, right? Because
Yeah.
not everybody is going to be well adjusted financially speaking. Not everybody is preparing for a proper retirement. So you're going to still need some sort of government assistance. What kind of assistance is going to be there when they're at that age, basically pulling the strings?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a very young prime minister. What's going to happen? That's a little scary in itself, right?
Yeah. I mean,
We know there's going to be a cause and effect in this whole CERB thing. Too much money was given out.
Yeah.
Way too much money was given out. And you can't just print this money and then just give it out and not expect it to not somehow come back in.
Come back.
yeah. But I think it's that what is that? The boat rises. So the whole world's debt has gone up. So we're not, it's not just Canada. Like if Canada's a boat, if our debt is a boat, it's rising just like America's, it's rising. So the whole world is being affected by this debt. And Manny, you and I were joking saying, well, let's just wipe out debt for the whole world. That won't happen. How does money now get changed? How do we value money when there's so much debt? We all know what happened to Argentina, where they just kept printing and printing. And as you know, for every dollar you print that you don't have backup in any kind of GDP value, you just keep devaluing it. So how is the value of money even determined now with so much debt? I mean, even America, my God, how many trillions now?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
That's a different.
And I heard that blew up today.
Did it really?
Yeah, it went down by $3,000 in one day or something.
Went down?
Yeah, down, blew up.
I think it's going to go through the roof.
I think so too. Bitcoin's a whole other thing.
The hell's that, Dave?
Dave's in charge of sound effects today on the show. Open up the cork, the iWatch.
The iWatch. Christ.
There's got to be an upbeat. No, nothing upbeat. Well, construction's been
So
busy.
you know what? So here's my prediction. I think if anybody can get through 21,
You can get through
anything.
anything.
well, you can get through anything. But then I feel 22
That's going to be the scary year.
I don't know. It's gonna be. I think it's going to go through the roof, but I think it's going to put construction back 10 years.
22?
Yeah, or maybe even 20. Maybe even the start of 21. And here's why I think, because there's already so many guys can be out of work.
Yeah.
They're gone. They're lost their businesses, everything else. So what's the easiest thing to do? Go buy a tool belt for $50, grab a hammer, grab a shitty old pickup truck. I'm a renovator now.
Yeah.
And
Shady,
this
shady,
is-
shady.
Right? It's just going to set us back with the shit work.
Because people are going to be starving and they got to work.
Or
and-
do we get smart with the
Right.
government and embrace immigrants to come in and give them education into construction? Like they did in the 60s and 70s with immigrants coming from Europe and everybody. And they got into construction and they built huge companies that are big, massive companies now.
Well, we've talked about this before. We got to get it back into the elementary school. Got to get it back into 7 and 8 so somebody goes, oh, these are my hands. Wow, they can actually do things. And then they move on to high school. And you know what? You know what? The parents, like, you know what? Your kid doesn't want to go to university.
Not every kid
But he's
does.
good with his hands. He likes to get. I got 2 kids right now, 23 and 19. They're brilliant. It's been years since I've seen young kids like this that love what they do, and they're good. And they're going to get even better because they love it. They love to be out. They love to do it. And they're good with their hands. They're willing to work.
Well, I mean, we talk about immigrants. They always seem to be the ones taking on the dirty jobs, and for some crazy reason, the trades were considered dirty jobs. I'm encouraging my son to get a trade. He got into the carpenters. He's actually at Seneca getting a civil engineering, but the carpenters union put on a contest to build a house, like a little shed or something. He went in there, and his school won. So since then, he's now decided to get into the trades. And my God, if there ever was a business, I would say that makes money is being a trade. I don't know any trade that's out of work except for now. I think that the mentality, a bit to your point, Jim, is the mentality has been that, all the trades, all that kind of dirty work has been done by the immigrants. And I'm looking at my age, I'm going, God, I wish I was a tradesman. Because
See, the 70s and 80s were big for tradesmen. Like,
they were.
when in the 70s, I just want to be a tradesman, man.
Yeah.
And, boom. And it was great. 80s were good. Mid to late 80s, then it started, parents started going, I don't want you to do what
that's
I
right.
did.
You need to get a
You
higher
should-
education.
You should work in an office.
Yeah.
You should do this.
your
Then the
hands get
IT
dirty.
came, and then
Right.
everybody wanted to be a computer geek, and
Right.
and everybody just threw the hammers
And all the
aside.
bullshit at university degrees, humanities. What the hell are you going to do with a humanities degree? Basket weaving, bullshit.
Right.
No, hands-on, practical teaching. What university teaches how to, as you just said, how to hold a hammer?
Every
Nobody.
guy that I went to school with that was in a trade is either retired and done well.
Exactly.
Every
they're
single guy.
They're not multimillionaires, but they're millionaires.
They're above the par.
They're above the par. Like
Right on.
any tradesperson now, you got to do your years. You got to do your 5 years, do whatever it takes, get it done. You're making 6 digits after that.
100%. Yeah.
It's true. It's easy to make 6 digits in construction. And it's funny how everyone thinks it's a dirty job, but
Right.
it is such a clean living.
It's a great living.
It's a great living.
Yeah.
As you get older and like our guys are getting older, they're in their 50s and that, then they're not on the tools as much. They're running the job.
Yeah, they're managing it.
They're managing it.
organizing
They've
it.
earned-
and also
they've earned
educating
that.
the next generation.
Right.
And from my side,
Passing it on.
there's a lot of trades guys I work with that also invest in what they're building, which is they invest in real estate, which is a little bit more.
Right.
Look at your friend Jim there, the electrician. Oh
Jim.
my God, how many properties does he own now?
Yeah, no, he's done well. He's flipped a few.
Yeah, but he's got like a whole portfolio of properties now, right? Because he builds the damn things and he ends up buying them and
Yeah,
renting.
but that's what most renovators,
They get into it.
contractors
They
do.
get into it.
They
right?
get in, they get their own, they flip a couple. I mean, that's how I got ahead.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
built a house, sold it, did a couple of these here and there. Okay, built a little nest egg. Now, you can go off and try different things. You got to have the drive and some, little entrepreneurial spirit for sure, and be willing to fail. And
Take a chance.
and
Be
take a
willing
chance.
to fail.
Right?
Listen,
I
just
think,
clear cut it. You're
School of
going to
hard
fail.
knocks. School of hard knocks.
What's that?
The school of hard knocks.
School of hard knocks, right? Failure is just success backwards. You gotta fail to succeed. But there's nothing wrong with trade, man.
Oh, any day.
Maybe because of this whole reset or what's going on, you're going to get more kids wanting to get into construction because they're seeing that it hasn't stopped us.
Where's it gonna go? Robots can't build a house.
No.
Maybe they can build walls, but somebody still has to assemble them. Robots can't do the
Clients don't want to deal with robots.
right, right.
They want to yell at somebody else.
Thanks, brother.
We got to finish that bottle. All right.
Well, I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, well, Manny, you're the lowest of the
What are you
bunch
talking
here.
about? This is my second. Stop it, man. I got to control like a computer here and everything,
It's like the
right?
vaccine. You're on your second.
Yeah.
So is this live?
No, it's not live.
Oh,
We're just
I
recording
see.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's live, Dave.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right now, our prime minister and our premier, everybody's listening in right now, and the RCMP are going to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, going back, we were talking, how do we in some of my clients, with material costs, they're just going to put their jobs on hold, like we talked about earlier.
Isn't that a fine line, Jim? Though, like you got to go back. Okay, like you said, 70,000 lumber package. It jumped to what? 130.
Yeah, doubled.
So now, are you nervous about the client saying we want to pause?
Yes.
We won't do it next year. We'll do it the year after.
I've already had that. They've come in, we've given a price, and then I said, hey, you know what? We got to readjust this price. And they go, you know what? We're just going to kind of wait. We're going to wait till next year and see how this goes. It's all we hear now. Let's wait. And like we just said, let's wait and see what 21 brings, 22.
I agree with you that 22 is going to be the interesting year. I still think 21 is still going to continue what 20 was doing.
I think so too.
Oh yeah. No, that's what I say. If we get through 21, then I think you've made it.
We'll have a quiet holiday. It'll be 10 people. Enjoy
Yeah.
the holiday, and then come January, construction will continue. And I think
And
21,
on the 21st, there'll
And
be
we'll
a
have another
shutdown.
shutdown.
The third
I
wave.
really want to see if this is going to happen. It's going to suck, man. But if it happens,
It will.
I hear it's really cheap to travel now. All the inclusive packages are very, very cheap, man.
Yeah, but when you arrive, you got to quarantine for 14 days.
On the island?
Yeah.
Really? You still have to?
No, you take a private jet. That's what you do. You hire a private jet with your family and
And they'll let you into the country,
they'll
no
let you in
problem?
with no
Oh.
quarantining.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
I didn't know that.
I'm assuming private jets
So what's
are
a
cheap.
jet? $6,000-8,000 an hour?
Yeah, you probably to get to Florida would be probably $30,000-$40,000.
Right. All right, let's do it. We'll just say we're all brothers. Just go. I'll throw 5 G's in. That'll get us there.
Let's just ride down. They're not letting us in, though, huh?
No.
Or will they let us in, not let us out?
No, they won't. They won't let us in. And, yeah. I
Well,
guess-
ride down on our bikes.
Yeah. Well, fuck, Dave. It'd take you about 10 years to get down there.
Yeah, that's another conversation. I think is
Dave will be pushing his with one leg. I'm going too fast, man. 20 kilometers.
Those
an
are all
hour.
behind the
I'm over
scenes
the speed
stories
limit.
that were shared off mic before that. They told me a little bit about you and bikes, you and your bike.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got the great bike now.
yeah,
He's
it's
badass.
fine now. Yeah,
Remember, you took it for a ride. You
Yeah,
loved
this
it coming
spring.
back from Fort Erie.
yeah, yeah.
Get me off this thing. It was so
It was
uncomfortable.
the new seat was brutal. But
Oh, yeah, no,
have you
yeah.
ridden that? It's the back end, the spine. It goes right in your spine.
Yeah.
So it's all American bikes.
Harleys, right?
Harleys, man.
They're all
Harleys.
American bikes.
Yeah.
I'm the only Italian bike. And mind you, I'm still looking at another Italian bike.
Yeah, but it's a V engine, right? So,
Yeah.
So same as a Harley.
Just don't tell that to the boys.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we fix this or do we ride this out?
Well, I don't think we have any choice. Got to ride it out. We're
You just
never-
got to ride it out, huh?
4 of us aren't going to fix it. And
All this Adamson talk, it makes me wonder, is he going to be
In
open tomorrow?
numbers. We got to be in numbers. That's the only way to fix it.
What do you mean, like in protesting?
Pretty much.
there
I
comes
think
the
so.
revolution, brother.
You mentioned this, Jim? You mentioned that it was going to happen.
So this Adamson thing, I even think he's a flashpoint for, I was saying to you, Manny, that he's a flashpoint for the small business people because people look to him, and we've seen pictures of him. He looks like a regular guy trying to make a living, and he's now trying to stand up to Big Brother. As Dave was saying, do we support this guy or do we let this guy burn? Do we support him by going to, and I bet you there's going to be a rally at Queen's Park this weekend or something.
There was one today
At
For
Queen's
him?
Park.
at Queen's Park. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Has he made the American media?
Yes, yeah.
He's
My
made the
brother-
American media.
Rob says he's down in the States now. They're
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
You know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Americans feel the same way as him.
It's
right?
true.
I'm sure. I mean, and there's a lot of Canadians that feel the same way.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, so we're talking about a guy that, has a restaurant. Let's talk about what we do. Where's our associations?
We build restaurants.
We build, but where's our association?
We don't. There isn't.
Where's build in this?
this? Yeah.
And where's
It's
the
a great
Canadian
question.
Home
You have an
Builders
answer
Association?
for it or what?
I don't. Why are they not
Supporting anything.
supporting something? Just like we talked about earlier, stop the material cost prices. What again? Dave saying it's numbers. What numbers do we have in build? 1,500 guys. Let's face it. Most of us just join for the sake of joining to say,
Yeah.
hey, we belong to build. Has they ever done anything for me?
I know, but last
No.
week on last week's show, I was saying, what is it? 1.7 million in this country are trade related, some way of construction. 1.7 out of the 37 million
Million,
people
right.
in Canada. That's the number. 1.7. All of us should be rallying.
So here's the shout.
They
Here's
drive
the,
the economy.
Yeah.
here's the
Construction
shout
drives
out.
it.
Here's the shout out. Why don't we start something?
Make some noise. How do you make some noise?
With numbers. We need
Most
people.
of us are renovators and small contractors. Build deals mostly with the
Bigger.
big boys,
Big homes,
the
yeah.
condo guys,
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
Canadian
Multi.
home builders, same thing. Canadian home builders maybe has, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000, but a portion of them are renovators.
But there's the
contractors.
Renovator Association, isn't there?
Yeah, but there's not that much. It's not that big.
Canadian Home Builder has 5,000.
That's combined, I think.
Okay.
Right? Could you join? I mean, you join Toronto Home Build or Build, you become Canadian Home Build.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Are contractors easily willing to support everybody, each other?
I don't know. See,
They're not.
10 years
They're
ago
not.
when I came out with the magazine Renovation Contractor, but you know how many guys, called me up and said, hey, is this going to be more than that?
Yeah.
I go, what do you mean? Are you going to start an association? Are you going to be the guy? Are you going to lead us? And I go, no, I never thought about it, but
But somebody has to, Jim.
I don't know. So maybe
Yeah.
somebody has to. Maybe
And
it's time.
And it ain't going to be one of the monkeys on TV.
Well, as you were just saying,
those
it's a shout out. So somebody has to take a stand and say, okay, what are we going to do? I think, personally, I wanted to put the information out there about the comorbidity. I think the government is not telling us the real truth behind it. Therefore, the lockdown is a fake. The lockdown's fake.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So tell us the truth about the death of COVID, and then we can figure out, is the healthcare really overburdened by healthy people who are now sick, or is it overburdened by kind of sick people who are now sicker anyways? That's
Right.
what I think.
Why aren't you breaking that information down? Because that information
Right.
is going to let people uprise
That's
against
right.
a
That's
lockdown.
what I'm saying.
what is going to happen.
If there is ever a shout out, why doesn't the Ontario government tell us that kind of information? Because then we, as intelligent people here at this table, can say, oh, you know what? I get it. Yeah, I want to, because we're all being asked to stay home. We're all being asked to wear masks. We're all being asked to change our lives dramatically, but we don't really know why.
Why,
And
right.
And now I'm saying, well, let's figure out why. And Alberta is the only one that has the guts to publish the truth at 0.079% of healthy people. I think that's ridiculous. I think
I actually believe those numbers, and I think that information should come out.
All right, Doug, it's up to you, man. You got to,
get it out there. Let's tell the people. He's saying, well, he's a man for the people. Tell us the truth. How many people, healthy people who didn't have any pre-existing, die from COVID? How many?
Do you think they have this information in their hand? They just choose not to share it?
That's exactly right. So the article that I picked up on said perhaps Ontario does not have that information. I'm sure they can get it Because if
In
Alberta,
today's digital age, how you not have this information?
Right.
That's almost plain dumb.
Right. There's so
But
many stats
Where were
out
you, on an island? No, you weren't vacationing. So you're at home Googling. So all of a sudden you found out that you have this information. Why aren't you sharing it with the proper
I'm
media?
sure there's doctors out there that are fully aware that they know that the real death rate of COVID from a healthy person is not what it's being portrayed in.
Well, there's lots of doctors all over social media sharing that opinion.
Yeah.
They're talking about how it's...
So there you go. That's what I think. I think we should make sure that we're supporting the lockdown for a real reason. I think this existing lockdown is a fake. I don't believe that the numbers are supporting the oppression, if I can use that word, that the government is placing on all our industries.
That's what's going on here. It really is a 1984 situation.
Yeah.
The government is trying to control more of what we're allowed to do or not allowed to do.
Right. It's almost like, as Dave was saying, it's a conditioning. We're slowly being conditioned to think, oh, it's okay. And I was saying, my daughter, it's okay to wear this. It's okay to do that. I'm thinking this is retarded. Why am I being asked to close my business? Why? Well, because for the good of society. Yeah, but why? Well, because you're told to do it. Yeah, but I was raised to ask why. Why am I being
challenged?
As a public official, I just am assuming that there's lots of business owners that have sent letters or emails to our officials to tell them, I'm paying X amount of dollars per month for an establishment that's not open, bringing in revenue. Do you realize that?
Nobody's helping me.
I can't sustain paying that continuous amount of money without bringing in revenue. You're telling me to shut down for 28 days. My business barely makes X amount per day. Multiply that by 28 days now. And then I have to bill. I have to pay things, man. And then I have my own personal mortgage. I have my own personal dependents. I have my kids. I got my car payments. I got everything. Why aren't they talking about those numbers? Why aren't they figuring out how to? And it's the same thing for us, man. Like, we're all scared.
So
as
why don't they do
contractors.
it? I thought of this before. Crazy thought, but everything's gone crazy anyway. Why didn't they, like Dave said, shut everything down for 28 days? And when you shut everything down, payments, everything, there's no hydro bill, there's no gas bill, there's no tax bill, there's nothing. Everything gets frozen. Your mortgage, your this, your that. So everybody just stays home.
everybody's equal that way. Everything is equal.
Everything is equal then. And if you're going to hand out any money, like I said, give each family $1,000. That's more than enough to feed you for a month.
Yeah, because you don't have any bills.
And we just lock it down.
That 2000 was such a big mistake, eh? It's on the cusp of, I don't need to work, and
My
I'm making just enough.
guy,
It's
his
food
people,
stamps.
his
It's
people,
food stamps is
his
what it
people
is.
didn't
Yeah.
even come back. I go, what are you
The
talking about?
amount
man?
of phone calls that I had to make, and I hear on the other end, I'd rather stay at home because I'm making 2,000
Exactly.
and I don't have to work.
And his wife makes 2,000. Oh, and by the way, my son's
So
home
we're
too.
bringing in enough. Guess
We're
what?
bringing
Let me go to
over
Amazon. I'm going to buy a
5,200.
TV now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, just think about families with 20 kids, you know?
Are we back to Brampton?
I can't
What's
think
going
of
on
I
here?
can't think of families with 20 kids. I don't know any
I would say
families.
some of the Muslim families out there.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
My carpet guy, he's got 16 kids in his family, like brothers and sisters.
Yeah, there you go. Do the math.
That's
From
a
the
lot
East
of-
Coast.
That's a lot of coin.
And they share that. They share that wealth.
Yeah, it wasn't the
the
CERB wasn't per family. It was per individual.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Per individual.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money that's going to have to somehow reappear later on in the future. But yeah, you're right. If you would have shut it down, made that CERB less, and then people would have just shut down, flattened the curve, got rid of everything, cleaned up everything, that would have been 28 days back in March, April. And then we would have been rebounding.
So how many billions would that have been? Probably not that many. $1,000 per household, 30 million
Yeah,
people.
we would have killed COVID. COVID would be gone.
Canada would have been a leader.
I'm still going back to the original thing is why shut anything down? What is the real number behind COVID? I mean, you're right. That's a great strategy. Shut it down. That would have worked. But shut it down. Why even shut down? We're talking about a 0.79% death rate of healthy people. We're shutting down for I love Freakonomics. They flip statistics around. So Freakonomics teaches us to look at numbers the other way. So that means 99.3 3% of every single person that gets COVID survives. 99.
Staggering, man.
Right. So why are we even talking about a shutdown fuck?
A shutdown, fuck.
Sorry.
I just
But it's
picture,
just-
I
it makes me
picture,
mad.
I just picture our government. I'm sure you guys have seen Airplane 2 with William Shatner on the moon base, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden he was just frustrated because he didn't have bells or buttons or lights or whatever. So he says, just shut it all down. Shut the whole thing down. Shut it. I picture our government officials doing the exact same thing.
Because as
It's
Jim's saying,
easy to
it's
do
easy
that.
and they don't know what to do. They
After
truly
that.
don't know what to do.
And they think that they think the citizens are thinking, hey, you guys are doing something.
Right.
Because you shut it all down.
Remember, every day he came out, made his announcement. Oh, what the hell? Like, I'm going back to the thing. You're overreacting to something that we really don't know. And so what do? You shut down the economy. You destroy lives based on information that you really don't have. That's really wrong.
That's
really
the cause and effect. Like they're not analyzing that whole mental and the livelihoods and all the businesses,
The repercussions.
all that repercussion stuff that's going to happen.
And as you were
Do you know
saying,
why?
look at these kids, man. They're going
Why?
Because it doesn't affect them. He goes back
Because
in
they'll
his
be
cottage
out-
and gets his
Right.
They'll be
$400,000
out
a
of-
year, and that's it.
Yeah.
They'll be out
And
of
how about
there.
the hypocrisy when they were telling us not to travel? How many of those guys? They were one in Thunder Bay and freaking
Right.
he traveled here, and they're telling us not
Were
to
they
travel.
all traveling?
Yeah, they were traveling. They got proof in the
Well, they're all traveling on private planes being paid by our tax dollars.
right. So going back to the point of we have two types of people. We have the people like us that are self-employed, and the people that really, the ones making the decisions, they don't care. They're getting paid anyways. But we're talking about livelihoods.
So in all fairness, would you want to be, during this COVID days, would you want to be that contractor or business owner stressed out, not sleeping, freaking out, losing employees, trying to figure out your next dollar? Or would you rather be the government official going home getting paid full amount for doing fuck all?
I can't tell how many times I thought I should have been a government employee. Why am I sometimes suffering? I got a good friend, love him to bits, fireman, did his job, great pension. He's 57, he's retired, full pension. I was a railroader.
And he's a renovator now.
yeah. Actually, he is. He's making more money. So, but getting involved in a government type of position, man, I've questioned that many times.
It's not a bad gig if you think about it.
Right now it is.
But then we'd be like Greece, right? Where 52% of the population worked in the government. Look what happened to Greece. So it's guys like us that keep the freaking economy going. Come on, guys. We
No,
gotta
I
stand.
agree with you. Trust me.
Yeah.
Plus, have you ever walked through any of those government offices and seen the looks on these individuals?
They hate their jobs.
They're in their 30s and 40s and they're on death's door. That's what
That's
they
why
look
they
like.
want to be at home. That's why they would want to
That's
be
why
at
they
home right
love being at home because it's basically pension time right now.
now.
That's what it is. They're getting full pop for doing what? I'm going to answer 5 or 6 Zoom calls. I'm going to reply to a dozen emails, and that's my job. That's my scope for today. What do we have to do, Jim? We still
Get
got to
up
go
in
to
the morning.
Never
Yeah.
stops.
I
Never
got to go and
stops.
try to find a job.
Right.
Then I got to get on my knees to get the job.
Then you got to worry
and
about your
and that means I
employees.
have to do a job to
Gotta
get the
get
job.
on my
And I don't even know if I'm going to get the job.
knees. But I was on my knees.
You better have some good burn marks.
Jesus.
Are you slicing up the rest of the salami there, Mark?
Yeah, man, for
That's what
sure.
you're doing, eh?
No, what is it called, Dave? That's
Truffle salami.
Truffle salami.
Where'd you get it from?
really good.
Fortino's?
Fortino's.
This show's brought to you by Fortino's.
and the cheese too.
This cheese
Yeah,
is the
that
best.
espresso
Wow.
cheese is really, really good.
You like
Seriously.
that cheese?
I think we should just do a podcast where we're just nibbling on
That
food,
cheese,
man. That's
yeah.
all. Just make it a whole buffet here.
Yeah. Well, when Adamsons get back out of jail, he can,
gotta go there.
he can make us a brisket.
I wonder if he'd be cooking up in the jail there.
Probably, right?
I don't know. Just start souping it up, man. Start seasoning it all up and put it out there. Put it on the smoker.
I'm sure he's out on bail.
It's got to be.
Well, he didn't get arrested. He didn't get taken. He did.
Yeah, they
Handcuffs,
everything?
Handcuffs.
them.
They have to
Yeah.
make an example of him.
Right.
Exactly.
They have to make an example of the small business owner who wants to survive. Go figure.
I thought he was going to be honest, I thought he was going to drive that plow through something on the front of his truck. And then I started to wonder, why does a guy that owns a restaurant drive a truck with a plow?
I think because he owns that building and he plows his own
plows his own
parking lot.
building?
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
I guess.
The best truck was the Happy Hooker.
There was a Happy
Did you
Hooker
see
truck
the
there?
Happy Hooker truck?
No, I missed that one.
Whose
It
truck
was a
is
tow
it?
truck.
Was it really?
Yeah, tow
It's
truck.
called the Happy Hooker?
the tow truck.
Was that the guy that had the music blasting when we were there? Wow.
There was some interesting characters.
There were some characters.
Oh,
there.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Gentlemen, I got one last segment here so we can wrap it up. Which is
Are we
the-
done already? Is that it?
It's an hour, almost an hour and a half.
Holy.
What, you want to keep on talking?
No. I mean, it goes by fast, eh? Thanks, brother.
I'm empty. I'm
And the
empty.
wine's done.
Here, get them. You got more?
He's got another bottle.
Dave, what the hell?
That's it.
brought
I
5
think
bottles.
there should be as many bottles as guests.
I think so.
That's what it should be. You brought 5 bottles?
I got straws.
Are we expecting? All right, gentlemen, let me get to the 12 questions of construction here. I'm curious to find these answers, eh?
No, this be interesting.
What is your favorite construction word?
Fuck.
Fuck.
Is that yours?
Hey, there's Dave's first word tonight.
Carpentry.
Carpentry.
Love carpentry.
You love finish
Love it.
or rough?
Rough.
Rough.
Love rough. Oh,
You know
my
what?
God.
In all fairness, I do prefer like a good framed house, like a
It
beautiful.
happens so fast, eh?
Yeah.
You can build it in a day.
The shape of the
that's
house.
it.
That's when you first see the shape. The drawings become
You
an
like it
actual.
rough, eh? All right.
What is your least favorite construction word?
Paint.
Pain?
Plumbing.
Plumbing.
Plumbing, yeah.
Plumbers make a lot of money, by the way. Like a shitload of money.
And they're dealing with a lot of shit, though.
You know what?
They
They
do.
make a lot of money, man.
3
I
days
know.
Thursday, shit goes downhill. That's all you need to know. That's if you're in the union.
What turns you on in construction?
What you just said is seeing something come together, like looking at a drawing. If you start off with a drawing, and then you try to visualize it in your head, and then when you actually see it,
What turns you off in construction, guys?
clients that don't pay. You do a great job, and they don't pay. And I'm always carrying receivables.
That never happens, eh, Jim?
No, Christ, no.
Oh, I'm in the wrong business then.
Dave?
Whiners.
Whiners, yeah.
Whiners.
Whiners.
Whiners? Like,
Yeah,
like
trade,
whiners.
trade whiners. they just, nobody's any good.
The HVAC
Like,
guy's in the way.
Right.
And,
They're just do your job.
Okay, gentlemen, what is your favorite curse word? Could be an individual word. It could be a phrase.
I'd say shit fuck.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Fuck.
Fuck.
that's just a drawn out one.
What is your favorite vehicle, boys?
The vehicle I'm driving right now.
What's that?
I've had trucks my whole life, and I finally bought a Longhorn Ram, and it's unbelievable.
He's a Dodge man?
I'm a Dodge guy. Yeah.
You're a Dodge man, eh?
I'm a
You're a
rammer.
Dodge as
I'm a
well?
rammer.
I actually
Just-
bought the Ram
But that
because
is
of
your
him.
favorite vehicle? Out of
I
all the
don't know if
vehicles
it's my
out there.
favorite vehicle,
It could be a
but-
bike, it could be a vehicle. It
Because
could be
Dave used to be a Chevy man.
Yeah, I was a Chevy guy. So the
Chevy
Ram's-
pickup truck?
It's nice, yeah. Chevy.
Silverado. Remember those good old
Avalanche.
Bob
Yeah, the
Seger?
Avalanche.
Bob
The
Seger
Avalanche was
actually.
a-
The Avalanche was one
You know
of the
what?
best
The
trucks ever
Avalanche
made.
was such
Yeah.
a smart vehicle.
Yeah.
The Avalanche?
Yeah.
I loved mine.
With the window and the drop
And you
down,
flip
I'm like,
down.
it was such a smart vehicle. And what did GM do with it? Let's get rid of it.
Get rid of it. I had one. Mine was an 08. What did you have? 10?
209.
Oh, 09.
You drove the crap out of that thing.
Merrick's still driving it. I still have a
Yeah,
guy
you still
driving
got
it.
it around there.
It's got 400,000 K on it.
No. It was a great driving truck. I loved that thing.
Practical as hell.
What is your least favorite vehicle?
Dodge Ram.
The Longhorn?
No, I had a Mercedes, and it was.
You didn't like it? Which one?
I had the ML 350.
You didn't like it?
Didn't like it. Always problems. Always problems. Every time I hooked up a trailer, just might as well take it to the shop.
Really?
Yep, nothing but problems.
Dave?
Jesus.
Chevette.
You remember those things, man? Oh, those things were brutal.
He
That's what I
speaks from
started
experience,
working. That's
man.
what I started working with.
You had your tools weighted in that thing, and
Yeah,
it
the
was
Chevette used to
weighted
drive
down.
like this.
Oh my
I'm sure that every Corvette owner cringed when they launched that vehicle and named that vehicle. I'm like, why would you
Chevette,
name
yeah.
that vehicle Chevette?
Yeah,
Like, why, man?
such an embarrassment.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
Sound?
Sound or noise?
Hammers. Sound of hammers. hitting
Just
wood.
any hammers.
Yeah.
Dave?
Saws.
Circular saws?
Cutting. Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you guys like to attempt?
Plumber.
You'd like to be a plumber?
Considering I hate it, I think plumbing would be a great Never out of work. Never out of work, a plumber.
That's true. It is so true. Dave?
Electrical.
I don't like anything that gives me pain that I don't know where it came from. You touch a wire and you get pain, and I'm like, that wasn't supposed to happen, man. What profession would you not like to do?
Accounting.
It is boring. Man, it drives me crazy.
Drives me crazy.
Maybe that's why you got receivables.
Dave?
I would say painting.
Painting. You don't like painting?
Oh, it's the worst.
I love painting because it's the final.
It is. I like it too. Yeah.
It's the final.
Too much cleanup.
There's a lot of cleanup. It
Too
is a lot
much
of
prep
cleanup.
work.
Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Let me in.
I think he'd say about time. It's about time.
It's about time.
About time.
I finally got the numbers.
Oh, any last thoughts on COVID and construction and what's going on right now in Canada and Ontario and small
I think
business
you know what? I think we'll talk about this again in the new
in
year
January?
when Dave's prediction comes right.
A third lockdown.
true.
Yeah, if there's a third lockdown, we got to have another show because that
This
would.
is it's going to be serious.
Will you say
I
four
think
words?
we're going to see, like, this year is going to be a big prediction of where we're going to be in the future.
You talking
Next
about
year.
2020?
2020 right now is like next year is going to be a year that I think we're going to pay for right now because of these lockdowns. We're going to see it next year.
Have we not hit the lowest low yet?
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's going to
coming.
get worse. It's going to get worse. And
Yeah, I agree.
For
I said
2021.
last year at this time, I was worried about this time this year, and it's exactly where we are right now. And I was right. We are where we are.
I've always been worried about 22. I've always been worried about, once this started, I was worried about 22. I was uncertain about 21, thinking 21 was going to be very much like 20. Go back to 19. Nobody thought about this.
19
God,
was, everything was going
Everything was going great.
Booming.
God,
Yeah.
Canada can be a self-sustained country, and we could be a leader. But we haven't. Why haven't we?
Because we can't pull it together.
Maybe we should start by unifying all the contractors out there.
That's what
Forget
I
about
say.
build, forget about the construction, all these other associations, and we don't start an association. We just unify everybody. That's
There
all
you
it
go.
is.
Let's do it.
We don't create an association.
Contractors
We just
united.
unify everybody.
Considering again that the construction industry is 25% of our
That's
economy.
huge.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest
That
industry.
drives everything.
It
Can you
drives
imagine a million
Drives
people
everything.
just going to Ottawa?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Right.
want my permit.
Yeah,
Basically, right?
yeah.
We need to work.
Yeah.
They'll listen to us because we'll all have hammers.
Yeah. Let's bring our hammers and start throwing them at the wheel. Let's tear the place apart. Rebuild it. And then hand the bill to the government. Here you go. You owe us.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great to finally meet you guys, and it was a great conversation, Jim, as always. I'm glad
Yeah,
that you
it was
pulled this
great.
together.
Yeah,
This is
I
wonderful.
think it's good.
Makes me wonder what you're going to do for next week.
What am I going to do? Jesus.
I just sent him a text going, "Hey, what's going on?" And then all of a sudden he sends me a whole story. I was going, "I got the best guy to come by." Wow. And we have this amazing conversation.
All right, well.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see who we pissed off,
Yeah.
and we'll see who's actually agreeing
The
with
more
us.
we piss off, the better it is.
But the thing is, there should be conversation. There should be discussion.
It shouldn't piss off anybody. Everybody has an
Opinion.
opinion.
And
And
they
we
have a
should.
right. They have a right to
Yes.
that
And
opinion.
they have a right to do it. You got
I
it right
agree.
there in front
I
of you.
agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Like, I'm not right. I'm
I'm
definitely
expressing
not
my
right.
opinion.
I'm expressing
That's
my
right.
opinion.
That's
I'm just
right.
trying
And
to
that's what
help.
small business owners are doing. They're expressing their
That's
opinions because they are losing their livelihoods and they're potentially losing their homes. That's scary.
And
There's
they're
a
losing.
there's a lady store on Avenue Road, and it's closing up
For good.
for good. And I happen to know where they live, and they live in a great area, and they just built the house, and now that's up for sale. So they're losing
Everything.
everything. They've lost a business of God knows how long, and now their new home that they built, now that's being sold.
I really hope all these people are writing letters to our public officials and letting them know, by the way, I just sold my house because I can't carry it. I just sold my business because I can't carry it.
And by the way, just as a fact, for every letter, politicians view that as 1,000 people because most people don't write letters. So when a letter does arrive, the sentiment behind it is 1,000 people. I used to work within the government, and they told me that for every letter you got to view it that 1,000 people feel the same way, but they won't write the letter. So if they get 10,000 letters, that's 1 million people feel something. So writing a letter is extremely
So what
important.
if we got 1,000 contractors to
1,000
write a letter to
Yeah.
our public officials outlining why construction is important to us?
100%, that would make a massive
Dude.
impact.
I think that's got to be Monday morning.
Yeah. Let's write a letter.
Yeah.
Everybody write a letter.
Write a letter.
That's a good
Tell them about what we talked about.
Yeah.
You do that on Monday morning when you do
I
your
was already
thing.
planning on talk about how we don't get paid when we're on job site meetings, but architects and designers do. I was going to talk about that, but this is a better one. Let's do the letter.
Let's do the letter.
Let's see. If you're saying it's 1,000,
It's 1,000.
even if we get 100 contractors to write a letter, man.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
That would be equal to 10,000.
You write one, I'll write one. We start. We just write a letter.
Just right in the Doug.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep as many or as few 4-letter words in the letter there.
Yeah, don't swear. Let's be.
Oh no, I might put in HVAC.
And you know what? I got to say, I do have to say, let's give him a little bit of credit. I think Doug's done a pretty good job
He has.
so far.
He has.
Yeah.
He's a straight shooter. I like the way he talks,
yeah.
but
and
you
so
know,
was his brother.
Yeah.
Maybe, he fucked up at the end.
A little bit of a drug problem.
At the end. But he was a true guy for the city. He loved
He was
his
one of us.
city, man. He
Yeah.
loved his
he
city.
spoke his mind, and I
Yeah.
respect the man that speaks his mind. I really do.
And I think Doug's another. And I believe Doug when he says like he's here for the people. I really do. And you know what? You don't get everything right.
No.
But I think he's doing his best. He's learning. I mean, he's been thrown into a pandemic. He doesn't know what the hell,
Yeah.
Fuck, he just got into office.
There's no book for this.
There's
no rules. There's no nothing.
I was listening to him, in Parliament there, and the NDP shitting all over him that the seniors' homes are this and that, and he stood up and he goes, "You know what? I just fucking got into office, man. You guys caused this shit, not me. You've left it for me to clean the fucking thing up." So,
It's true. Need more guys like
don't
that.
be a politician. Just be a businessman and get this shit under
Yeah.
control.
And you'll totally understand what we're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of us are going
And he
through.
is a businessman. He's
Yeah,
run
I
a
think he
business.
gets it. He gets it.
Yeah.
Comes from a family.
Yeah, but again, he could take a firmer stand and say, "Look, here's the facts. Here's the real numbers. We're being told misleading numbers. 5,000 new COVID cases. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Big deal. 5,000 people got tested positive. What is that going to do for the health system? But the result is, for the past hour and a half, is we've been talking about job loss, all the struggles. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. We need to know the truth.
You think the PR companies have come in now? You think they're trying to massage the way information is being presented to the public now?
PR companies are hired by politicians all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they may realize this information and say, "Oh my God, if we let this information out, we're going to have a revolt."
You're going to have an Adamsons in every city.
That's correct, because people are going to say, "I'm not shutting down for 0.79% of deaths due directly to COVID." Again, that's the stat. And Alberta is the only one that has the guts to do it. But then Alberta, I've always respected Alberta, man. Alberta's always
But Alberta's already in a recession, so they got to do.
they got nothing to lose
They
anyways.
got nothing to lose. It's true. Right? There's nobody working.
No, their real estate's taking everything's
Taking a shit.
Yeah.
So,
And they're always shit on by Ottawa, which I don't
You
like.
know what? That's the shittiest thing. I don't know if you know this because you're a stat man.
What's that?
They pay the most. Oh, there's a percentage that each province pays, and they pay the most.
I think they give the most money to Quebec. That's what it is, probably.
Right. Is that what it is?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's the transfer payment I think you're talking about. It's a transfer that every
Yeah, because
province,
each province doesn't have, has X amount of dollars, and I think Quebec gets most. of
Quebec gets a lot more money.
Why does
than-
Quebec get most? They lost the war. We're a British Commonwealth.
That's an excellent way
The
to put
French never, the Blue Coats never won. Am I wrong on my history here? I'm just double checking. The
Well-
French didn't win.
Well, another stat is interesting is how many prime ministers did not come from Quebec, except
Well, that's the other stupid thing.
And
Right.
you know why Doug may not ever be prime minister?
he doesn't speak French.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Isn't that the dumbest thing ever?
Fucking horrible.
yeah. He doesn't-
I want him as the next prime minister.
Oh, we'll have that turban guy there. What's his name? Singh.
That was great. Thanks, Dave Smith. Just want to clarify who just said that comment.
He speaks French.
He does speak French.
He does, yeah.
The question is, when you go to Montreal or Quebec, do you speak French or do you speak English?
I speak English. I don't know how to speak French.
I always found it funny that the entire country has bilingual traffic signs, highway signs, but then when you go to Quebec, it only has French signs.
Right. And they won't talk to you if you can't.
And I don't
speak.
get it because they lost the war. We're part of the British
I agree.
Commonwealth. Am I wrong on my history? The Blue Coats lost. Didn't
Yeah.
they give up and they went back on the boat?
We're pandering to them. Why?
Right. And it's a province that sponges off of every other province.
That's right.
And I'm not really
they
going to
get the most
apologize
transfer.
because
They
there
get the
are
most
a
money.
handful of French contractors that do listen to the podcast, so I'm not going to apologize
No,
for these
hey,
comments.
hey,
They probably feel the
contracts
exact
are
same way,
contracts.
right? So
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, Dave, didn't we have, when I was working
Well, I
with you?
grew up there, so
yeah,
I
you
know.
grew up there, but we
Yeah.
couldn't get jobs in Quebec because we,
Right.
like
right.
contractors can't work. Ontario contractors can't work in Quebec, right?
no,
they
but
can
they
work
work here.
But they can work here. So come on. They're-
Well, there's a whole mafia thing going on in Quebec regarding construction and the unions.
And they drive Harleys.
You know that.
You know that for a fact, right? There's a movie on Netflix right now, right? The whole mafia thing, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't touch that.
Won't touch that.
yeah, because that'll be a knock on the door, right?
Yeah.
No,
the hell out of
that'll
here.
be a bomb under your seat.
At least you know what's coming at you.
That'll be less than that'll be greater than 0.07%, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It would be.
Oh, this went on a whole other tangent. All right, guys, thank you very much for showing ruffling a bunch of feathers.
Dave,
man.
are you getting another bottle of wine?
He's not. He's not. We got to get out of here. So once again, thanks Jim very much, man. Carrick Hall, follow him on IG, carrickhall.com. And
Jim Carrick, for
and
God's
Jim
sake.
Carrick, yeah, Jim Carrick on IG, right? So you never post anything. Once in a while, you post.
I got to post the same.
You
But you got
posted
to teach me. You got to
no,
teach
yeah, I know.
me.
I'll show you. But the thing is, you posted some new work. Actually, some really nice new work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Getting some new stuff.
they do some good work.
Do.
You got to teach me how to do. I'm gonna
That's
have
easy.
I'm gonna have a Jimmy Tuesday or something. You do a Manny Monday, I'll do a Jimmy Tuesday.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining the show. All right,
right.
well, next week then, Jim.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye bye.